Welcome to the Clockwork Percussion Podcast. Today's guest is Kyle Nash.
How you doing?
Great. Thanks for coming on, Kyle.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for bringing me on.
Yeah. So I think you mentioned in our messages, we've been following each other for a while. Both make clips on Instagram, and you reached out, and so it's cool to finally make your acquaintance and get to know you better as a drummer.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, I've been following you for a while. I started my channel about a year ago, right at the beginning of this year, 2023. And I'm pretty positive you were one of the first channels that I ended up following, and then you ended up following me back. And I was watching some of your videos. I was like, man, this guy's really good.
Thanks, man.
And since then, just growing and building and doing stuff. And I've seen you got your YouTube now, which is really cool. And now you're doing the podcasting, which is also really cool. I think it's awesome, man. So I really appreciate you bringing me on.
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, I know. I think just establishing, some type of community is cool. And similarly, I started my account, I want to say late December of 22. So we kind of started off at the same time. And there's so many people that are around on Instagram that are just supporting each other, following each other, positive vibes. So it's been cool to grow with one another.
Yep, really. It really has.
Sweet. Just want to get to know you better as a drummer. How did you get started?
My dad was a drummer back in the day. He played drum and bugle corps in Massachusetts. And he started that when he was 7 or 8 years old. I think he started in third grade. And so he's always been a drummer, and he played throughout the 80s, and big 80s hair metal lover. So loves all the Alex Van Halen and, Def Leppard and John Bonham stuff throughout the 70s as well. Steve Smith from Journey. So he has a lot of real big 80s influences, but he purchased a drum kit when I think I was about 4 years old. And ever since then, from his influence, just purchased it in the first place. He sat me down on there, and I just kind of started banging on it. And every once in a while I'd go out there and I'd bang on it and, try to do a couple things, just keep a little 4/4 beat, nothing too crazy. And then in about seventh grade, I started really taking it seriously. Incubus was one of the first bands that I started listening to outside of my dad's influence. We kind of discovered them together when I was a kid. And the drumming, the singing, the everything about Incubus, I was just like, man, I love this band. And I just started listening to them religiously almost every single day, listening to all the drum parts and everything, and just sitting in my room and just flailing my arms around, not even playing on a kit. And I just took that and put it on a drum kit and started listening to it and playing along to it. And then I ended up getting into church youth group, playing with a bunch of other people and going on mission trips and playing at other churches. But yeah, seventh grade is really kind of where it kind of clicked. I always liked drums. I always had a good rhythm and feel. I was always nervous to play the drums though, because they're so loud and you mess up that everybody knows it. It's not a forgiving instrument, and you have to be very dedicated, jump right into it and just be like, yep, I'm going to smash this thing. And that was tough for me for a while until, like I said, I think seventh grade, something just kind of was like, nah, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to play.
Right on.
I don't care if everybody hears me suck. I'm just going to do it. So
yeah, you got to commit. So that's commendable. That reminds me, just like air drumming in your room and stuff like that. It's kind of like that movie Rush. Did you see it? It was a Formula One movie, directed by Ron Howard with the guy who plays Thor.
Okay.
And there's a scene where he's lying on his back, imagining the track that he's about to race on. And I think, building those neural pathways, however you can, just, I think we're all kind of, I don't know if guilty is the right word, but we all, have done that in a way. Those of us that take it seriously, just manifesting the art form when you can't be around to hit the drum. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. No, that's funny you say that, because there's been a lot of people that ask me about drumming and how you get started and what you should do, what kind of lessons you should do. And And I'm like, well, if you're going to take it seriously, a lot of the things that I did was just listen to music, listen to actual drum parts, and just flail around, and really just imagining you doing it, because it's expensive to get into. I mean, honestly, any sort of instrument, but drumming especially. I'm missing a couple of cymbals right now behind me on my kit. So if anybody wants to buy me some, just some Constantinople K customs or whatever from Zildjian, that'd be cool.
Right.
But just if you're going to take it seriously and you have a really big passion about it, just sitting there listening and trying to play along, like you said, manifesting it, it'll come. Things will start happening. So that's really cool. Yeah.
What was your first band, Kyle?
Church band.
Okay.
Church band was the youth band. We were the praise and worship group. That was kind of the first band. And I played with my dad, actually was the praise and worship leader for the youth group. And there was a couple of people that had gone to the youth group that I didn't realize were really good musicians. And we ended up getting them involved. And they were a part of the church, but they listened to other music outside of church music. They were very influenced by 60s, 70s, Zeppelin, Cream, Yardbirds, that kind of stuff, that London blues or whatever. So we were really funky, and it was really cool. We were pretty tight, and we tried to kind of create and establish a little band outside of that, but nothing ever really happened. Too many conflicting schedules and stuff. But that was the first band.
Awesome. What are you up to nowadays?
Now I'm in a band called the Bad Luck Trio. It's based out of Central Florida. We do mainly covers. We do have some originals, but most of our covers we try to play or recreate live versions of songs. So instead of playing Tom Petty's Last Dance with Mary Jane based off the album, we try to find something that's more live and try to incorporate that and bring in our own little Fish jam band essence to the middle of a song. So the skeleton is still there, but we have our little own creative freedom to do what we want to around that. And that's kind of how a lot of the rest of our music kind of goes. Very, very kind of Highly Suspect, bluesy. I don't know if you've ever heard of Highly Suspect. Good band. Really good band they're out of Massachusetts also, actually. But kind of just experimental Fish type. I'll just put it that way.
Right.
So lots of dips and valleys and emotional builds and stuff like that.
That's really cool. I'm sure maybe I've seen that kind of thing before, but like that's a unique idea, just to like cover the live versions and make it your own and really build the vibe in the room. It kind of reminds me, you brought up Tom Petty. I heard a live version they did of Gloria by Van Morrison's band.
Okay.
Whatever that band was that he first started in. I think Them is what they were called. And it's super cool because they do that. They just like build on those three chords the whole time. And then like Tom Petty's like talking about something. And it's like there's this whole story and they go in and out of the song. And it's really cool. And I listen to it and I go back to my bandmate. We lived together and I was like, dude, we should cover Gloria. And he's like, yeah, we're like a metal band, bro. He didn't say that, but he was just like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? I was like, dude, this Tom Petty cover of it. Anyway, so that's right. The Bad Luck Trio around in Central Florida. And what else do you guys do? Or what else do you do? Do you
So I do the Instagram stuff, Facebook, YouTube, all that kind of thing. Trying to build my own brand to help support band and also help support what I'm doing on the channel. Most of the covers that I do, if I don't know them exactly, most of them I run through in about one or two takes. There's songs that I already know for the most part, and I kind of like just jamming on them, and kind of freestyling on top of an already established song. But some of them I do get very close to the cover of them because I've just listened to them. I've listened to them and played to them for a million years. but I have my own brand that I want to start. It's just a shirt brand company. It's whole milk, and there's a whole inside joke about it. So I'll be able to tell you later. I don't want to say it on the air. So, but every time I have it, and it kind of looks like the Got Milk logo. I wanted to wear it today, but I got to do some laundry. But I wear it in my gigs a lot, and every time I take my hoodie off or jacket off, whatever, it's getting a little cooler out now, and we play, till 1 a.m. or whatever. So if I take it off at some point, it just says my whole milk. Somebody in the crowd screaming about whole milk. So I have that I want to start selling and promoting, and looking at just different reels and the different ways of advertising, affiliate marketing through Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff, because I love drumming as a hobby. And somebody said, if you can have a job and have a hobby that you make money off of, you're doing it right. So that's kind of the idea. So yeah, that's outside of the band. There's that. I run another business with certain things, and then I have my 9 to 5. So I kind of got a lot going on, but outside of just the music thing.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, you got to do what you got to do until you get to do what you want to do, kind of thing.
Yep, exactly.
Who's your favorite drummer?
Oh man. Man, that's a hard question. I was thinking about this earlier because I figured you were going to bring it up. Listening to some of your other podcasts. I want to say Jose was my most influential drummer. Just the way every one of their albums, his drumming style changes on, and he kind of stays within a parameter of drumming that he uses per each album. But he always seems to be able to keep his groove and his funkiness to it, which I really enjoy. But then I love guys like Chad Smith, who's a phenomenal funky drummer, who's not the greatest technically inclined drummer. He kind of flails around and bounces around, but he's in the pocket. He's fantastic. But I probably have to say my favorite drummer to listen to is probably Mike Portnoy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, he just rejoined Dream Theater.
Yeah, just a couple of days ago, or a week ago or so, which I found that interesting after his hiatus for 12 years, 13, 15 years, however long it's been.
Yeah, I was reading an article about it. I think they just kind of like dismissed Mike Mangini, but after I read the article, they were all like cool with it. They're all cool with each other. It was kind of his understanding, like, yeah, whenever Mike wants to come back, I'll just leave.
Yeah, I kind of read the same thing. He was talking about how, he wasn't ever trying to take over what Mike Portnoy did. Because he did a lot for that band outside of writing a lot of lyrics and composing a lot of it, and then all of his drum stuff. And he's a crazy dude anyways. His work ethic, he probably works 180 hours a week because he's in 14 different bands at any given time. But yeah, I found it surprising, especially because I've heard some things that Mike has said in interviews and stuff about Dream Theater. And I find it funny. I'd love to talk to him and find out the skinny on what all that entails. So
Totally.
It'd probably be good entertainment.
So you mentioned a couple groove drummers, Jose and Chad Smith, and then a very technical drummer in Mike Portnoy. So that's a really good mix to have as some favorite drummers. What type of sticks do you use?
I like the American 5As ProMark is they make some good ones, but I really like the Vic Firth ones with the nylon tips. They're a little thinner. And I just like how the nylon resonates off of cymbals for different accents and stuff. So I like those a lot. I used to play with the big fat baseball bat Buddy Rich series But those are just too big and too loud. You're breaking cymbals all the time.
For sure. Yeah, it's interesting to talk to each person about their stick preference and why, and it all makes sense. And it is such a like a preference and taste mixture. That's cool that you found a way to incorporate the nylon sound into your playing. That's not something I've been able to do. But yeah, those big Buddy Rich sticks for sure. They'll break some stuff. Dynamics can be a little bit more challenging. I play with larger sticks, and I find it. It's definitely like, oh man, if I got to get quiet, I might need to go down.
Right. Yep. But yeah, no, the dynamics is tough, and even some of the sticking is a little bit tougher with the heavier, fatter sticks. And I'm not the most technically inclined drummer either. I've never taken any lessons, all self-taught. So I try to use something that's most comfortable for how I can play and make it sound good and evolve with what's going on without, like, it would give myself a challenge that my sticking would probably get better if I played with Buddy Riches all the time. But it's hard to dedicate so much time to stuff like that at the same time.
Wow, that's surprising to hear you're self-taught, man, because everything I've seen, you're just like on top of it.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yep, for the most part. I mean, my dad gave me pointers and stuff growing up, but never, he kind of stayed out of it. He was like, you're going to play when you're going to play. And if you're interested in it, then you're going to go after it. And if you're not, then you're not. I'm the oldest of 5, and I'm the only drummer out of all 5 of us. My other 2 brothers, they like getting on there and they can keep a beat and they can play some stuff, but nobody really gravitated towards the drums like I did. So he kind of let us do what we gravitated towards. So he didn't put a iron hammer to me. It was like, all right, for the next hour and a half, you're going to do double stroke rolls until they're perfect. So most of that was just me trying to, I just trying to get better every time I could, and listening to things, and always tapping on something, a desk, a chair, my steering wheel on the way to work, trying to really focus on wrist movements compared to complete arm movements, and how to do all that. And but yeah, I've never taken a single lesson. So I appreciate that. That makes me feel good, because sometimes I'm like, man, I look like I have no idea what I'm doing, but whatever, sending it out there.
No, that's great. Yeah, you obviously know about like your wrists, and your rolls are clean. What kind of kit do you play?
So I play it's a Tama Rock. It's the Tama Rock Classic Fusion, I think. It's from it's an older kit, but it sounds great. I think it's the Rock Fusion, because it's kind of got the smaller toms on it, it has a nice rock beat to it, but it also has some of that jazzier, tighter toms in it as well to change up your dynamics when you play it. Because I got an 8-inch, a 10-inch, a 12-inch, and a 14-inch tom, and then the bass drum's 24 inches. So yeah, it's a cannon. Yeah.
That's interesting. So you got really punchy toms, and then just like the big, the boss.
Yeah.
That's sick. What's your dream kit?
I've really been looking at, I don't know if you know who Chris Allison is, plays with the band Pillany. Very, very technical drummer. Actually, Pillany's a guitar player, but either way. He plays the Sonar kits, and they are beautiful. And I would really like to sit behind one of those and kind of screw around with it. But my dream kit would probably be, I like having 4 toms. I like having the dynamics between there, and then having about 1,500 cymbals. But I like the big bass drums, like the old John Bonham 26-inch. There's just big, deep, disgusting bass drums. I love that. But I love roto toms. I don't know. I'd be a kid in a candy shop if you gave me $100,000 and was just like, hey, make your Neil Peart or Mike Portnoy drum kit. I'd be like, oh yeah, give me this and give me that, and I want all that. Give me it all.
You'd spend it a week.
Yeah, it'd be It'd be spent very fast.
That's dope. What's your favorite cymbal brand?
I've always played Zildjians. I like Zildjians a lot. Their A's and their K's are really, really nice. I'm about to buy a couple of A's right now, actually. And I have a pair of the dark K custom hi-hats. They sound amazing. I bought those secondhand off of somebody, but they were like basically brand new. But I really like Meinl. From everybody that I watch and through Drumeo, and I think Drumeo uses Sabian most of the time, but I think sometimes they bring Meinl in. But Meinl cymbals, they just sound amazing. And I mean, whoever wants to sponsor me, I love their cymbals the most. But I like Zildjians, and from what I've heard of the Meinls, like the Byzance series, they're just sound phenomenal.
Yeah, they're unique with their more dry sounding characteristics, and I've noticed. I mean, it seems like they sponsor all these influencers. They were smart. And they got the influencers before the big guys did, and like really elevated themselves with all of that.
Yep. It looks like a couple of these other companies are kind of trying to do the same thing with the influencer thing, which is cool. It's cool to see because it is a cool community to be a part of, where everybody's drummers and they're all trying to help promote each other and bring everybody up, putting them on pages, and like, I didn't say any company names, but they'll make you like little headlines on their websites and stuff like that. It's just cool. And then they'll give you other access to other drummers that you can talk about different techniques, and this guy's been playing for 35 years or whatever. Try doing this. You can ask questions and be in forums and chat rooms and stuff. It's just cool to see. So I didn't even realize all this existed. So I never thought Jose Pasillas from Incubus was ever going to see one of my videos and then ends up liking one of them, which was probably the highlight of anything I've ever done with the drums.
That's what's up.
So this whole thing, this internet and Instagram, it's awesome. The communities are cool. It'll probably be humanity's downfall at the same time, but it's cool.
Yeah, I know it's hairy out there. So that's cool. That brings me to another question. Kyle, what does drumming mean to you?
It's an expressive outlet for sure. What does it mean to me? I don't know. I love it. It's almost like a drug. You talk about getting runner's high when you are a jogger or a runner or whatever, because the endorphins in your brain start going off. And they say that kind of happens with drumming as well, because you're working out. You got all your body parts are going to town. And that high, that being in there or sitting in the groove and feeling it it's like a drug. You're up. I don't know. I just get lost in it. It's like tripping. You're in another world. Nothing else matters. Whoever's saying whatever in the corner or whatever bar you're playing in or not, it doesn't matter. Nothing. It's ethereal. You're in another realm. So it's hard to describe what it means to me, but I love it.
I love that. Yeah, I feel the same way. I know what you mean. The physical nature of it, and then there's almost like a metaphysical, spiritual realm that you can go into when you're really locked in.
Yeah, it's like this tribal essence or something where
absolutely
you're not on peyote, but it's like everybody just did some peyote and you're just playing the drums, and it's like, God, I don't want to be anywhere else.
That's funny. Cool. Do you have any tips for the listeners?
Practice. Find what you like and get good at it. Find what you like and do it well. I don't try to be like any one specific drummer. I do take licks from this person or that person and stay creative, not try to always reinvent the wheel. But take something that you really cling on to and you really feel and enjoy and and go after that, practice that, get good at that. And as you're getting good at that, start experimenting, start putting it in other areas. One of my favorite genre of musics is like the new metal with Korn and Limp Bizkit and Linkin Park, and they brought in these really cool like hip hop beats or jazzy funky beats with John Otto and like even the Deftones. They have these very jazz influenced drummers, but they brought it to rock and roll, and that combination, it was awesome, was amazing. I wish some of that stuff would come back. Created some of the greatest music that's evolved into new stuff nowadays. But things like that, just take something that you enjoy and you like it and you love it, and get creative with it, experiment with it.
Very cool. So you mentioned your up and coming brand Whole Milk. Can you give a little bit more background on that?
Yeah, so it's a term that I created accidentally on the spot with a buddy of mine where I wanted to make this a whole cult thing. But maybe I'll spill the beans. It's basically like saying 100%. You have 1% milk, you have 2% milk.
Okay.
Or what's whole milk? That's 100% milk.
Yeah.
Well, if I agree with you, I could say, oh yeah, 100%. 100% I agree with you. Or I could just agree with you and say whole milk instead.
I dig it.
So that's kind of the inside joke with it. And I want to brand it and put it out there and make people ask, like, what is this and why? And why is this just on a shirt randomly? Like, it doesn't make any sense, but it's also funny for some reason.
Totally. Yeah, maybe they'll dig into the podcast episode one day and they'll be like, "Oh man, that was the secret all along."
Yeah, exactly.
Pretty cool. So you have some shirts made and it's become kind of like a local inside joke.
Yeah, I mean, between a couple of people that I know, and actually it was funny. I coined it when I was living in Denver. I lived in Denver for a couple of years. I played with a band out in Denver and toured around for a while, and played it everywhere downtown, all the old bars on Broadway and Colfax. But anyways, there's people out there that know about it. There's people here that know about it, and I need to pull the trigger. I'm still trying to figure out all the logistics and which website and stuff that I want to go through. And some of them are expensive to get your hands on a lot of product at one time. Which is kind of why I wanted to talk to you about your magnetic key and stuff, because that's one, genius. And two, it's really cool to see you have your own, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have your own key brand basically. And you're selling it and stuff like that, which is really cool. But how you kind of went through that process. But that's kind of what I'm looking into right now for the shirts and how I want to brand it, how I want to get it out there. I'm thinking about just buying 100 shirts and going to one of the local places that a bunch of people go and just throw shirts at everyone and let them go in the bar with it. Do whatever you want with it. Here, just take this shirt. Until people start going, well, what in the world is that? I have no idea what the hell that means, and make it a mystery until you look into it and you got to find out. So
with shirts, I would avoid the print on demand stuff, like Spring, and gosh, there's a few other brands where you can like just upload your logo to a site and then they'll like, I think they like laser print it onto a shirt. That's great for like, the quick kind of turnaround, but I would go with as high quality a screen print as you can get locally on high quality shirts. Like that Bella Canvas brand for shirts is pretty popular. I like Next Level. That's what all my bands have done. It tends to be a good fit for everyone, and it is a little bit higher quality than like the Hanes or the Gildan stuff.
Okay.
because people will associate your brand with whatever quality you're delivering. And if it's a comfortable shirt, like they're gonna want to wear it versus like one of those boxier shirts that shrinks a size as soon as you put it in the dryer.
Yep.
Yeah. So, I mean, for the clockwork stuff, that's because it's large quantity, it's made abroad. And I started actually like with an Amazon business a year before I started clockwork, and kind of learned the ins and outs of how to sell on Amazon FBA.
Okay.
Fulfillment by Amazon. So the magnetic key, it's not something I invented. It's just, I saw other ones and I was like, man, these are really cool, because I always put the key on like my snare lug, and if I hit too hard, it comes off, and it's during a show, I need to tune up real quick. I'm SOL. So that was really kind of just like the first thing that I wanted to get going quickly, while I developed a multifunctional drum pad, and that's coming out pretty soon here. By the time this episode airs, it'll be out, and it's a 10-inch pad. It's got 4 different rubbers on it, and they all have different hardnesses, so it kind of emulates movement around a drum kit. So yeah, I kind of have like a bunch more ideas. This podcast, I'm kind of treating like a product as well, getting to know drummers at any stage of their journey better. So yeah, I think, for me, I found that associating yourself as like or presenting yourself as a premium brand is the way to go. People always kind of want to relate themselves to like a higher ideal.
Yeah.
So, I use Squarespace as well for my website.
Okay.
And they have a lot of cool AI stuff now that will make ads for you for social media.
Okay.
And then I'd recommend Canva, and maybe even getting a pro account once you kind of dig into it more and hit the threshold of the free account. Those services have really helped me.
Okay, cool. Let me see, just taking notes here real quick.
Yeah, for sure.
You got Canva, and what was the other one?
Squarespace.
Squarespace. Yeah. Yep, we use Squarespace. I have another website built through Squarespace. So, nice. But yeah, cool, very cool. But yeah, man, just doing more research on that, and I agree with you 100%. Yeah, I want it to be some kind of like that Supreme, not necessarily exactly Supreme, that type of a brand, but have that same type of mindset behind it of, no, this is a quality shirt, this is a good shirt, you're a part of something with the whole milk realm cult thing. If you're, you have it, you're in on the secret, all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of my marketing thought process behind it. It's just getting, again, the logistics down, because I want to make sure. I've already run into problems. I bought some of them from one website, Rush Order Tees. They were build-ins. They did shrink almost like 2-3 times after washing it. And I'm like, all right, well, I need to watch out for that. And just wanting to make sure that everything looks good and it's printed on well, like you said. So I'm getting all that together right now. So cool. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And another idea just crossed my mind. You can go to threadsy.com. It's like thread and then SY. And you can buy blanks of shirts at a really cheap price, and just do one instead of like in bulk. And kind of find out what fit you want to go for. Another thing I would do is, call up like 2 or 3 screen printers in your area and ask them what sells best for the kind of like aesthetic that you're aiming towards. Because they're going to have the most like up-to-date, on-the-ground information about what's going on. But I love the Supreme idea, because to my understanding, I don't know too much about them, but they just do like really small batches of stuff, and it's like you got to get it, and then when it's gone, and it creates, like you said, like kind of like this cult vibe.
Yep. It's such a super high demand. So
Right.
it's like Apple when they come out with a new phone, but they only make 50 iPhone Pro Maxes, then you want to go buy one and you can't for 6 months.
Yeah.
So,
It's $5,000, but you want it.
yep, exactly. Oh man.
Awesome. Hey Kyle, anything else that you'd like to make mention of?
No, follow Clockwork, man. His stuff is awesome. You kill it, dude. You're way more technical than I am, and you have all that speed metal stuff down, and I can't. I can't do any of that. I'm like, hey, just let me play Levy. I'll play that. But I can't play that metal stuff, man.
Thank you.
You crush it. But yeah, I got my handles are on Instagram and YouTube is Nasty Meat Beats. Kind of a play on a nickname I had for my last name, Nash. And just came to me one day, thought it was stupid and goofy, and went with it. That's kind of how I roll. It's like this is a half-cocked idea, and it kind of. I was just like, here, take my videos, just post them on there. Do whatever you want with them.
Cool, man. Well, the time limit, unfortunately, is cutting us short here. Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast and sharing your story. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate you, man. And this has been awesome. This has been really cool. So if you need anything or need help with anything, or just reach out, man. So
Will do. Looking forward to Whole Milk and seeing where else beat will take us.
Yep. Awesome, man. Well, hey, take it easy. Have a good one.
Bye.